But I never got to meet Norm, man. He was one of those people that I just assumed that someday I'll make it big, I'll get to direct a movie, and I'll give Norm one of the best parts in my movie.
No.
Like, he was one of those things. And then he died, and I was like, motherfucker.
What part? What would you have put him in?
I probably would have given him a dramatic role. Like, I would have, like, given him
Wow.
a good role where he has to actually play, like, an ex-addict who's, like, trying to give a life lesson to some kid in a casino and just, like, starts off funny and nice and then ends up yelling at him, and the kid doesn't know that he's drunk and that he's lost everything. Like, I would have put him in
Little St. Vincent. Maybe he's got like a little
Yeah,
Bill Murray meets
yeah.
Matthew Broderick in.
because he was capable, man. He
Totally.
committed.
He also could have been like the guy who like was the head chef on the cruise ship in our cruise movie.
Oh yeah.
And he just comes up one day and he just goes, "Hey, we ran out of pepperoni, and also there's a fuck swing
There's
in the bathroom."
I mean, I don't know if it's a fuck swing, but it certainly seems like one. You run a black light on that thing, I'm sure.
I mean, how many bathrooms do you know that have a dildo on the toilet seat? Yeah, the way he went in the paint on OJ was like unreal.
Oh, he just went for. I mean, he went for Clinton too, and by the way, he should, man.
He had this one joke on
Go
Update
for it.
that I'll never forget. I think I even posted it, but he was like, he goes, in the recent book from OJ said that Nicole Kidman or Nicole, what was it? Nicole Brown Swanson. So was it Nicole Brown?
Sorry, he's had a lot of liquid deaths today.
Hey, it's Herbert. And you're listening to the About Last Night podcast, you slippery little son of a bitch.
About last night. About last night.
Well, we're rolling, but we can start whenever you want to start.
Let's start now.
Okay, great.
Oh, sorry.
You know, we'll start. We'll edit that out and then we'll start.
All right.
I can't tell with you sometimes because you're so naturally funny that like even that I'm like, is that like a physical, like when you were a kid, where you strike me as the type of kid that was like, and I was this way too, do most anything if it was going to get the laugh. Like.
You're 100% right.
That was
It's all that mattered then. It's all that matters now.
You know
I
what?
wish I was kidding.
You-
I wish I valued things the way I valued getting a laugh. I don't.
I know, dude.
Nothing.
That's all that matters. Hug that mic a little bit more.
Yo,
Just
what
because
up,
we want to
man?
hear your pipes.
Yo, what up, bro?
Do you ever people? Well, that was unexpectedly hot.
What, me talking?
Yo, what up, girl?
It's more because it's right in your. Oh, you're not wearing the cans.
Nah,
Do I have to wear them?
only if you want to.
I'm done. You sound like Oz the Great and Powerful in this fucking thing. I'm not giving you that much. I'm not giving you that much power over me.
Yeah. So just to give the listeners a little bit of backstory.
A little bit of background.
I think we knew each other from stand-up, right?
So you were doing it.
Well, first of all, actually, let me stop there.
Yeah.
We met first on a cruise ship 20 years ago, and both were fighting over that shirt and this shirt, our arms crossed, our hands touched, and I said, which one do you want? And you said, whichever one you don't want.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy is a good guy. We both left our dates,
Right.
met up for pizza karaoke, stayed up till I think it was like 6.
Well, the sun came up, so it was at least 5.
Watched that girl shove that guy off the Lido deck.
Yep.
Filled out a couple papers, witness to a murder. Hey, will you do my podcast in 10 years?
We didn't
And here
use the
we are.
M word. We didn't use the M word. Remember? 'Cause we were like, whatever we say can and will be used.
Do you ever think about if you see something like that, what you would do?
If I saw a murder,
Yeah, is it?
Oh, I would get.
Is this a comedy podcast?
Listen, I
I have a lot of questions.
I mean, I've witnessed a couple of murders. It's usually
Jesus.
but it's usually just when when somebody tries to talk shit about me, and then I come back and I just gotta murk them. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Oh, so a verbal murder.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to sound. I've never witnessed murder. You know, I'm a weirdo though, where I get involved in altercations in public all the time.
Do you really?
All the time. So when I lived in Chicago, when I was doing stand up and improv at IO Theater,
Yep.
there was like an altercation where this guy was like talking. This white guy was talking shit to a black guy, and he used the N-word.
I mean, just so 1994.
He used the N-word, and
Oof.
then all these other black guys and even women started crowding around, and they were about to beat this guy's ass, and I kind of just got in the middle of it and said, like, I was like, hold on, because people were getting their cell phone cameras out. It's just one of these things where like
that happens
people
so quick
want
now.
this guy to get murdered.
Yep.
Which I get it. He looked like a dumb white kid from Iowa who's like, I went to Chicago one summer, you know. But I just told him, I was like, you don't want to do this, and I said to the guy, I go, get out of here. And I just broke it up, and then the guy was like, hey man, and I go, I just saved your life. Get the fuck out of here. And I just randomly quoted Goodfellas because I was so scared. And I said, get your fucking shine box and get the fuck out of here.
No way.
And his buddy grabbed him and they walked away. But then I had like 9 black people staring at me like kind of like.
Yo, you win.
No, they were kind of looking at me like they're frustrated that they didn't get any justice from that moment.
Oh.
But then as we got back
Almost like you saved the white guy.
Yeah, even though that wasn't the intent. I was really
Yeah.
trying to save everybody because I knew it was an avoidable circumstance. So
Yep.
I just, as we were getting back on the bus, I always was the last one to get on. I would always wait for everybody, and I would get on last. And as I'm waiting, like 3 of the dudes looked at me and went, and like patted me on the shoulder and got like it was a
great
weird
day.
unspoken thing.
Yeah.
But like women who've been like verbally accosted on like LA transit systems, like the subways. Dude, I almost beat this dude's ass one time because he just kept saying racial slurs to this really tiny Asian woman.
Oh my God.
And I just said to the kid, I was like, press the button. See if I don't like playing movie in real life. Because I'll fucking eat you, dude.
Dude, not only
And,
are you coming with like the appropriate amount of like, you know, vigilante type attitude, but you also are saying the right cool things. Like that's what every guy
On
dreams
occasion.
of. Is in the moment to
On
be
occasion.
like,
Yeah.
you know, I fight fires without a condom, you know, and then just punch some guy in his dick, you know.
And I'm not one of those dudes who's like, oh God, it's Tuesday, I gotta fight. Like I'm not one of these weird guys, but like
Yeah.
I mean I'm a weird guy, but I just mean I don't like bullying.
Yeah.
And if I see it in real life, including on a movie set. I've been on sets where like
Whoa.
somebody shows up and they're like, I'm a producer, and I'm like, really? You haven't done much. And then they kind of try to act cool, and I'm like, keep blowing up balloons. I'm gonna pop all of them. Not because I hate you, but because you're not getting away with being a douchebag.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Keep blowing up balloons because I'm going to pop them. Do you say that to them, or is
No,
that just in
that's-
your head?
That's me talking to my good buddy Adam Ray.
What if it turns out like these are all things you learned from like Clint Eastwood, and you were just like, do you mind? Keep blowing up those balloons. I'm going to pop them. And you're just like, do you mind if I use that on a subway fight?
Dude, keep blowing up those balloons. I'm gonna pop them. It's like if Eastwood was the old guy in the Pixar movie Up.
Oh, he was the voice of the guy
It'd be
who
so
was
good.
trying to take down the old man.
I don't really miss my wife that much.
That's a different
Don't let
movie.
the first 5 minutes deceive you.
That's a different movie if Clint Eastwood is the voice instead of Ed Asner.
God.
Ed Asner or Ernest Borgnine? No, it was Ed Asner.
I think Ernie was dead by then.
Okay.
Rest his soul. I think that was Ed.
Yeah, that was Ed. Do you is that a part of the business that you're just wanting to tackle next?
What?
Animation.
It's so weird you even said that. I just had somebody hit me up and offer. Well, we talked about it.
Oh
in
yeah,
that
that's
text.
right.
I had somebody offer me a role in this very alternative comedy animated feature, and I read it, and it was funny, but I never get offered animated stuff.
It's
I don't know.
gonna start popping.
I would like to though. It looks fun. It looks easy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, just it's also what you'll find is that like you get so into it, like you really, if you act, it's even that much easier because like it truly helps to kind of
To break into the
just like
more,
it you can tell in like cartoons you watch where you're like, oh, that guy's just reading some lines with kind of an emotion and they, I don't know, or it's a kid show where they don't need the acting chops to be that.
It's a big
savvy.
difference between Archer and Aladdin. You know, Archer, you can show up and just play it straight and
Yeah.
be like one of these characters in a suit.
Yeah.
But then like Aladdin, you see the footage of Robin, and he's so animated. He's going nuts, and it's like, dude, that you need to give it that kind of life externally, or it doesn't come out the same way.
Like, I don't remember critiquing cartoon acting, like the acting skills of cartoon voices as a kid, but like we would have been able to tell if like Launchpad McQuack just didn't bring it.
Launchpad McQuack.
If you were like, do you really want to find the treasure? Because I don't feel it, man.
Yeah.
As
no,
like
that
a
would
9-year-old
totally.
kid.
By the way, you almost sounded like when Marin does that one voice where he's like, yeah, man. Went to a party, man. There weren't enough drugs, man.
Yeah. So I went to the fridge and got some ice cream, you know.
So anyway, the world's it's getting dark out there. It's getting dark out there. Today's sponsored by. There's always like a beat, sad beat when
Diarrhea Pizza,
Today's
right? What's one of his sponsors? Isn't it like Shit Your Pants Coffee?
Me Undies was one for a while.
Me Undies, yeah.
That's a big one.
Is there when you? All right, take me back. Take me back to
the cruise ship 20 years ago.
yeah. By the way, not far off. And by the way, there is an action comedy that's waiting to be written where you and I do meet on a cruise ship. I don't know what it is, but as soon as I said that jokingly, I was like, something about us both being like recently divorced and on there and meeting and like needing each other.
Yes.
Any sort of good buddy movie, I feel like the two people like somehow unexpectedly lean on each other. Even though planes, trains, automobiles.
Yeah, it's like when pain is a commonality. It's a different type of bond. Right?
Yeah. And on a cruise ship, that's just such a funny, especially going solo on one as a recently divorced dude.
I think it should be like some Die Hard shit.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like two different cops who have both been emasculated in different ways end up on the same cruise. One's wife is cheating on him, the other one alone. They end up hanging out and buddying up, and then terrorist attack happens. Then we have to thwart it, if you will. Yeah,
dude, great word.
Thwart it.
And I know what that means, but for our listeners, what does that mean?
Well, it's like when Thart has when you put a W in Thart.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Today's sponsor, me staying sober. Today's sponsor, nicotine lozenges. We met back in the stand-up, but here's the thing is, I started doing stand-up when I was 16.
Pull the mic down just a little bit more. Is it covering his face at all in his close-up?
Oh, I don't. Sorry.
No, it's all maybe just a little bit, just so we can see your full mouth. And I'm going to isolate that audio.
I know how many emails we got about wanting a full mouth shot of me.
Yeah, I think so. Like right down just a little bit lower in front of your face.
Is it more?
Yeah. Right?
How's this?
Yeah. Boom.
Hey,
that looks good.
Test.
Yeah, that looks good.
Test.
Yeah,
Trish Stratus, Bull Buchanan. Test.
Ooh.
Sorry,
do you have a vocal warm-up?
I'm doing late 90s, early 2000s WWE mid-carders, which we got to talk about at some point. I know you play Vince.
Yes, we'll
Is
put
this
a pin
permissible
in that.
or no?
Yeah, please. You can do whatever.
So I started
Today's
doing
sponsor is
stand-up.
brought to you by Meth Mints.
Raw Garden.
Is
For
it
people
really?
who can't handle their lives. No, it is. Yeah, it's right.
When reality becomes too much.
When you just don't want to look out the window. I started doing stand-up in 2003, 2004, and you and I were friends on MySpace.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And it was like one of these things where I just befriended a bunch of comedians and people I liked and kept in touch. And the move was always going to be, I'm going to move to LA or New York and do stand-up and get on SNL. That was the dream.
When you were starting from how old?
I was like 16.
Yeah.
Well, even earlier, like 13, 14, I became obsessed with Christopher Guest mockumentaries,
Me too.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the goal, is trying to do that kind of thing.
Sandler, Jim Carrey, right?
Yeah, be a male Parker Posey for somebody, you know.
Awesome, dude.
Because she's so gutsy and great, you
Yep.
know. And that was my thing, is I never thought I'd be like getting to star in a Clint Eastwood movie or whatever, and that shit.
I was never.
To me, it was like, can I be David Koechner? Because that looks fun.
Yeah.
Can I be Parker Posey?
Yep.
Because that looks fun. You know?
That's actually really smart of you to kind of make that the goal, right? And I think, I don't know, I would be curious, like, how many people do come out here with that true, like, I'm going to be the next Kevin Hart. I'm going to be the next, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
Jennifer Aniston. Like,
Are they realistic, or are they
Yeah.
completely deluded? You know,
Because you do need that delusion coming out here, but even for you, like, dreaming that big, but maybe that's just more attainable, right? Because you're like, and I don't know if that hurts or helps you to kind of like manage expectations, but like,
I don't know. I mean, I think it's good to have a middle ground thing. I think the people, I don't want to talk shit about people for having dreams. I want people to dream as big as they want to dream, but I also think there are some people who I've spoken to and met throughout the years where I've gone, you don't need to reach the summit.
Totally.
That's a summit.
Totally.
You don't have to keep climbing, man. You know, there's been a couple people like that.
Yep. You're so far removed from it in Saginaw, Michigan, right?
Saginaw, Michigan, yeah.
Do you have any ties to the business when you're out there? Like, are you truly deciding when you move out here, you're going to be like, wow, I know nobody?
Yeah, I mean,
except for my MySpace friends.
Except
you hit
for
up
people
Tom.
Stalking on.
Tom, man, you mind if I crash with you? He's like, I'm not a real guy.
I go,
I'm just a picture.
I'm something that was created to control you. I go, it's working, Tommy, baby. Meet me for midday drinks. I was planning on moving to LA without knowing anybody, but I was just really what's the word? I was really ambitious. So what I did was, I was in a sketch comedy troupe at the time called First Hour Movies. Me and 3 other guys from my hometown. And we would send our videos to SNL and Adam McKay and David Wayne and all these people. We would just send DVDs to their production companies or their reps or whoever.
Wow.
And I hunted down this company, Principato Young.
Yep.
And they were repping, at the time, what was a new thing called an internet comedian. And we were doing comedy for YouTube and Funny or Die in its infancy. And we were like, let's send them our stuff. And I IMDb pro'd their staff list.
Yep.
And then I MySpaced all the names and like added them and started sending them query letters of like, this is who I am, this is what I do, will you look at my stuff? And one guy got back to me, his name was Joel Zadak.
Yeah.
And Joel,
a big player there.
Yeah, big player now. And he repped me for 10.5 years.
Holy shit.
Until I left the company. And he really helped me get my start in the sense of, he introduced me to Key and Peele and Brian Husky and all these great funny people, and I started writing screenplays for all these guys, and MADtv got canceled, so overnight he had 4 clients who didn't have a job, and he's like, do you want to develop, and we'll try and get a movie made. So that was kind of my entry into the business, was him. But then I ended up doing stand-up and improv and writing screenplays, and then also I booked a movie with Jennifer Connelly and Ed Harris in 2009, Virginia.
Yeah.
And that was a really big thing, not because the movie was big, but because my entry into the business was making $10,000 for like 10 days of work.
Holy shit.
And working with Oscar winners and shit, and moving to LA with like actual money in my pocket and a
so you booked that while
title.
you're still in Saginaw?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I went to be a background actor, and I saw the writer-director Lance Black, who won the Oscar for Milk,
right,
like 6 months prior. And I
Crushed
said to him, I was like, dude, congrats on the movie. I love the film. I'm a big Jesus guy, and when you said God doesn't hate gay people in your speech, I thought that was so beautiful and necessary.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thanks for the movie and the speech, and yeah, I hope I get to be on your set or whatever. I was a background actor, 45 seconds, and then I was ready to walk away.
Oh, so you were already working on...
Oh, no. I was signing up to be a background actor. I waited in line like 3 hours to be a background actor on the movie.
Wow.
And I just spoke to him because nobody even knew who the hell he was. I followed the business like a psycho.
It's cool to have that set of goggles on where you... Because a guy like that isn't getting stopped by people because he's not in front of the camera as much as other people. So to get stopped is probably also already throwing him off guard, and then to have somebody
say something genuine.
Yeah.
And I kept it brief. I mean, I kept it under
Good
a minute
move.
and was like ready to walk away. And he goes, "What's your name?" And I told him, and he wrote my name down. And he said, "There might be a part for you." And I had 2 auditions, a cattle call with me and a bunch of random dudes who hadn't even done high school theater, like for real. Like it was like dudes who like, not bad dudes, but just like not movie dudes.
Yeah.
Like dudes who watched NASCAR and like hadn't been in a spelling bee ever. And then me, who I'm like, I can quote every line in A Few Good Men.
Can you really?
And I can do impressions of these 17 people. You know, I was like that kid, you know.
What's your favorite line in A Few Good Men? If you're dressing up as Tom Cruise for Halloween this year from A Few Good Men.
Which I was already planning on.
What's all right, Demi Moore. If you're going to dress up as Demi from Top Gun or A Few Good Men, what are you going to say? What's your line when you enter the party?
So Tom Cruise has that bit where he gets mad because they're trying to simplify a complicated situation. He's drunk as shit late in the second act.
Right.
And Tom goes, Yes, we get it from him. Yes, we get it from him. Colonel Jessup, isn't it true that you ordered the code red on Santiago? I'm sorry, your time's run out, but what do we have for the losers, Judge? Well, for our defendants, it's an exotic lifetime at Fort Leavenworth. And for defense counsel Caffey, that's right, it's a court-martial. Yes, Johnny, after falsely accusing a highly decorated Marine officer of conspiracy and perjury, Lieutenant Caffey will have a long and prosperous career teaching typewriter maintenance at the Rocco Club of School for Women. Thank you for playing Should We or Should We Not Follow the Advice of the Galactically Stupid? And then he throws all the papers off, too.
Wow.
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 And a little misogynistic, the Rocco Club of School for Women. I don't know if that would stay nowadays.
Yeah. Holy shit. You just have an amazing ability to track that stuff, yeah? Always have?
Yeah, and it's repetition, too. It's not so much a talent as it is a learned skill, I
Totally.
think. Yeah.
I was the same way.
I'd like to say it was a talent, but it's...
Just to hear
put
it
in
and
the hours,
absorb
man.
it. Yeah, I used to do that with Ace Ventura dialogue.
Oh, dude, that movie's so underrated.
Is there a
man.
bowling alley upstairs? What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I
Do we know what that is?
believe a demon is having a water birth. From the sounds of it.
I mean,
A lot
can
of
you
hot
hear it?
splashing up there.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, great.
Okay, we're good.
Great, we're good.
We're good.
Look at that billboard of Britney Spears right behind you. Any take
It just
or
says
thoughts?
freedom. And it's her putting two-piece on.
Just flashing her boobies.
You know what? I'm really happy.
On
I'm
Instagram.
really-
You haven't seen that? She posted all these like
See, these are the
kind of
things I don't need you to
provocative,
tell me about. Why do you tell me
provocative
this?
nude.
I don't
Maybe
need
not nudes, but just her. I think she was covering them, being like, "I'm free now." Which, you know, when I think about it, if I just got out of a conservative,
You said it right the
conservatorship.
first time.
if I just got freed from my dad, I'd probably be posting a picture with
Sound
my
like a
hand.
Mennonite.
with
My father finally freed me. I'd like to try one of these bars.
I'd probably post my hands covering my ball shot on the gram, just to be like, "Take that, Dad! I'm out on my own. I can go to
Yeah.
the Mac store and Applebee's
Bert
without
Kreischer, that's just a Wednesday, right?
That's just a
It's
Wednesday, man.
Wednesday.
Shirt off, just to
He's
build the
been
brand.
free, but he's just going to take that photo.
Any take on that? Do you follow that type of topical news?
What?
Britney
A little
Spears.
bit. Not as much as I used to. I used to follow everything.
All
and
the
then
pop gossip.
The possip, as we called it in my group.
Dear, what is that? Are you? Do you want to give a shit? You would give a check?
Sounds like if curdled milk could speak. It's very
What
dynamic.
if there was some sort of like crazy kidnapping? What if that's where Brian Laundrie is right now?
Oh, that's the guy who.
Yeah, that's the guy that's on the run.
Oh man, that's another story.
That's another story.
Are there any good stories? I guess Britney's is good.
Britney's is great.
Showing some flesh.
Yeah.
She's not scared anymore.
No.
I mean, that's great.
There is a. I know the stories that are always like they get the.
By the way, can we give gay men credit for Britney being free? How many gay men like fought
Yeah.
tooth and nail day? And I'm not making a joke right now. I'm
No.
dead serious.
Yeah, that's who
so
led the
many
charge.
gay men rallied around her and like made a thing of it, and like from viral videos to literal folded hand prayers. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to see a
1000%.
big group of people help somebody like that.
It's the true blessing, and I only think there's a handful of social media where it's like that type of.
Yeah, or somebody's missing, like the
Yeah.
thing you talked about, and everybody's like, "How do we play a part
Yeah.
in this?" And it's not an ego thing; it's everyone's trying to help. you know?
What was your first big social media kind of experience where you felt like, I don't know if it was from a film, where you felt like, oh wow, I'm having people that I've never met, or just an exuberant amount of like strangers coming at you,
Oh, like attention?
Yeah. Just whether it's Twitter, Facebook, the gram, just getting a lot of messages, or like, man, good job, I just saw this, and like where you're like, wow, I'm getting.
Yeah, Richard Jewell was
Yeah.
maybe the first real, because all the other ones that people didn't know I was an actor till Richard Jewell. Everybody like thought I was the guy I played for like 2 years.
Are you serious?
Dude, like people from like 2014 to like 2018 would come up and be like,
Dale, why'd you do it?
"Hey man,"
For
You know,
real?
they would just like come up to me and act weird, where they're like somebody told me one time, they go, "Yeah, a friend of mine thought you actually had Down syndrome. They watched you on Kingdom," and I was like, for one, I never portrayed someone with Down syndrome. Like it was a very weird. Like they were almost trying to like compliment me for being a good actor, but it came out really awkward, and I was like, tight. That's not
Thanks,
a problem
man.
with me that they
Yeah.
thought that.
Yeah.
It's just weird that they thought
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then people would give me weird looks in airports, but you got to remember, I, Tonya, and Black Klansman and Kingdom, they were all not the most put together guys. So like people would recognize me, but they wouldn't even know what from, and then they would be kind of put off. Like, I feel like you made me feel bad in the past. You know what I mean?
They couldn't even track it. Your face
Not
gave
until
them.
Richard Jewell and Cobra Kai.
Wow.
About 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, Richard Jewell you were phenomenal in that. It was
Thanks,
so good, dude. I've watched it like 10 times. No joke.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
I mean, it's not his best movie, but it's definitely a good one. I'm really proud of it.
You should be. It's also like I don't know where you fall with like movies that are like based on true stories, but it's like I feel like it's easier said than done just to be like, cool, we got all the facts. Now it's time to kind of execute. Like there's a handful that have missed the boat,
And some
Boat
are
Trip
good,
with
but
Cuba
boring.
Gooding Jr. That was based on a true story.
Him and Horatio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on a
Rosalind Sanchez, I think.
Oh, I'm joking.
No.
That was based on a true story?
No, Boat Trip?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you don't even know? This Liquid Death is really good.
Dude, you're a good actor.
I'm just a dick. And I do this to my loved ones, and now they're just
Me
like, boy who cried wolf.
Dude, I used to do
I
that.
don't even like you anymore.
Are you? Today's episode is brought to you by Talkspace. Guys, everyone is scared of something, okay? And whether that thing is spiders or Tom Selleck, we are often not going out of our way to seek help about our mental health, okay? Whether that's the fear of opening up to a stranger or the thought of friends and family judging you, I've felt it, we've all felt it. Being treated differently sucks. Well, meeting with a therapist to work on your mental health is just as helpful as hiring a personal trainer to work on your physical health, and the positive impact can be life-changing. Guys, I want to talk to you about Talkspace. They make it possible for you to speak with a licensed therapist right from your phone, tablet, or computer. And unlike traditional therapy, you can message your therapist anytime via text, video, or voice. It's 100% secure and stigma-free, the way therapy should be. At Talkspace, your privacy and security are their number one priority. The app puts you in a private room with just you and your therapist. You can send messages 24/7, get replies throughout the day. No need to wait for a weekly appointment. Talkspace's encryption and added security features keep your conversation fully protected. Now, whether you struggle with anxiety, depression, self-doubt, or anything else, and I've dealt with all three throughout my life, I think most people have. It's a common trait amongst people. Facing the obstacles in your life are not easy, and you don't win a prize for doing it alone. Talkspace gives you the access that you need to move forward, getting professional help. It's not weird, it's smart, because you or your friend might know a thing or two about electricity, but you wouldn't let them rewire your fucking house, would you? No. So don't leave your mental health to chance or to the amateur who's looking to give advice, or that friend who just thinks he knows what the fuck he's talking about, because he probably doesn't and has his own shit to talk through. So talk to someone who's trained to help you make that lasting piece of progress that you're looking to make so that your life can start being better. Join Talkspace today and start moving forward with a single message. Just visit Talkspace.com and get $100 off your first month when you use the promo code LASTNIGHT. That's Talkspace.com, promo code LASTNIGHT, and get $100 off your first month when you sign up. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com, promo code LASTNIGHT. Put yourself in a safe space with Talkspace. Are you gullible?
Yeah, it depends.
Okay.
I'm so gullible with like people in need of money and women. I'm always like, here's all my money and my heart.
Yep.
And then a week later, I'm like, there's no God. It's like when I light everything on fire.
Other
than that, I'm not very gullible.
Okay, cool. What's your favorite? No. When I was a kid, I was so gullible that to get back at my buddies that would like pull shit off on me, I'd start trying. That's probably where I started to develop any sort of acting chops. I would just commit to. I'd go back to. I've said on the pod before. A kid came up to me and told me that my folks got back together because his mom had been talking to my mom about them splitting up. So then he came and was like, "I heard your folks got back together," as like a joke, but I believed him. So then after I found out it wasn't true, I made it like this mission to like fuck with him, where I'd be like. I just.
You said I heard your folks got back together?
Yeah, what a crazy thing to say on the playground. You're like, dude, we're talking about like farts and like a new fruit roll-up flavor.
He's like, I hear your neighbor Kathy. I hear she's got a fuck swing. You're like, Jeremy,
one of those
please.
dildo chairs, huh?
Like,
Jeremy,
what is he talking
it's always
about?
Jeremy. But yeah, the Richard Jewell fanfare, I feel like that came from that was like well received, but it was like I went back then after and I was like, oh yeah, man, they got everything right. You know what I'm saying? And that's like I guess just my point. Like, I don't feel like that always happens.
No, they
sometimes
got most of it right.
Yeah, you can be lazy with sometimes some of that, or Hollywood fabricate certain details. But it was like also the way it happened and the things that they chose, the Clint Eastwood chose to like focus on, like the story and how much, what was his mom's name? Bobby
Jewell, yeah.
Yeah, like that was a really cool part of it. Just how kind of close they were and how.
It's an honest depiction of mother and son. You
Totally.
don't see it on screen that
I didn't
much.
expect that much of it to be in there,
It's kind of like Christian Bale and Melissa Leo in The Fighter. They have so
Totally.
many good little moments where you understand their relationship within one page.
Yeah.
And I think Richard and his mom were given that via Billy Ray, who wrote a terrific screenplay. By the way, great last name.
Billy Ray.
Great.
Yeah.
Great last name.
Great last name. I don't know about a first name. And that's no fucking.
Yeah, like an Alex or an Andrew or like an.
Billy Ray Cyrus is what I was thinking.
Hold on, let me look.
Oh, dude, with the glasses.
It's called an air. It's like an air mobile device. Adam.
There it is.
Big fan, by the way. Big fan.
You just reminded me real quick that you just doing that triggered me with the glasses. There was a guy on my flight about 6 weeks ago looking at porn on the phone. Scrolling.
Bad form, by the way, for those watching, listening. Bad form.
Yeah, you can't. Also, it was video with no headphones. And finally, I'd say about after like 20 minutes,
No, wait.
a flight attendant said.
No headphones?
Yeah, no headphones. But it was like I was just one row behind him. This was for a class.
Everybody just thought, wow, what is this really interesting movie about a stepson and a.
Well, that's the thing when you see. Yeah. The backstory on this is really thorough.
Thriller.
Yeah, some exotic thriller, but it was like because there was like a good amount of dialogue, and it wasn't just all like, fuck my butt, or just,
Yeah.
fuck,
That sounds kind of lazy, by the way. That sounds like a trauma movie.
I don't know what fucking porn that was.
Where is-
fuck my butt.
Where's John Ridley when
God.
you need him?
Yeah, no one's gonna believe that, Daphne.
Daphne.
Fuck my butt. Was that the line?
Put some respect on the name Daphne. Why do you have to do that? They
And
have
then
it hard enough.
And they just started swiping, and then the
Yep.
and then
What
somebody.
a creep.
Yeah, what a creep.
I would have went up to him immediately, and that goes with my confrontation kick.
Oh, really?
I would have
There's
been
kids on this plane.
Oh, I would have said there's adults on this plane.
Yeah.
I'm trying to watch the Kurt Russell movie where he's Santa on Netflix. I don't need to hear these people banging.
I don't need to hear
in
"fuck my
earshot.
butt" from Daphne.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to see if this kid is gonna, go to school and not feel bad about himself being coached by Owen Wilson.
I mean, at
That's
least,
the film Wonder. I cried to that like a bitch.
that was it. I cried too. It was a really sweet movie. I like that kid,
Dude, the
Jacob
kid-
Tremblay.
yeah,
He's
what a great actor.
He's
and
good
like,
in everything. Do you see him in the Good Boys movie, where the kids are like having a
No.
naughty Ferris Bueller type day? Good
no.
Boys
Oh yeah, I did see that.
is so good.
The kid's in it. He's a
So
part of the
funny.
gang,
He's like the leader of the trio of kids.
but he didn't have the Wonder face.
no, Wonder
That was
Face,
makeup.
He was struck with in a makeup chair.
Hollywood
90
dude.
minutes every day. I just burped into the mic. I feel bad about that.
We'll
I was
isolate
trying to
that
let it
audio.
go, and then I'm like, my new thing is calling all my shit out.
Oh yeah.
Because like I don't like to try to get away with anything because there's that fear that you're not getting away with it. So now I'm
Whoa.
just like, let me call myself on everything, and
Nice.
then no one can assail me.
Do you burp in public?
Not really. I do pick my nose a little bit.
When's the last fart you did in public and got called out for? To where it was like embarrassing, like those
I mean,
elementary
listen-
school silent reading.
I mean, listen, I kind of have my fart game down now. Now it's just kind of like. Now it's just kind of like. I know how to play it.
Yeah.
So I do the thing where I'm like, shit, I gotta take this call. Then I walk like 15 feet away. I rip ass and I pretend that I got a role in a big movie.
Oh,
And
so
I walk back.
Wait, so you scream over the fart? That's a classic dude move. So you go, hello? So you're still holding on to it. Hello? Yeah. No, I remember going in for that.
1, 2, 3. You
I
gotta
got
be
it!
kidding me! You gotta be kidding me! No! I can't believe she's still producing, telling me Pascal said hello. Bye. And then I walk back and I'm like, guys, I'm just spraying this Axe spray because I'm so hot out here. And then I'm like, anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna do Transformers 8. but
You guys
they
don't mind a
want
little
me.
mountain claw, do you?
So bad.
I remember I actively bought an Old Spice body wash called Wolfthorn one day, and I was like,
Sorry, Wolfthorn?
I got to take a look in the mirror after this purchase and ask myself, who are you?
Who?
Wolfthorn.
I hope it was one word. And I hope the font was loud as shit. I bet it was.
Even the gal behind the counter at Rite Aid was like, "Are you sure about this purchase?"
Last guy who bought this, he murdered his parole officer.
Oh shit! Wait, so when you're being directed by Clint Eastwood, is this like
It happens all the time.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
you mentioned like that's one of those things you can't dream about when you're moving out here. So is it like
It's just silly.
when you even get, let's say, I mean, how many auditions to get in front of them? Was it like an initial thing where you were like, also, second question, when you saw it, were you like, I fucking got this?
No, it was I was in Thailand doing the Five Bloods for Spike Lee at Netflix.
Yeah.
And at the time I was sober too, and I was alone. I didn't have the money or the brain to have like a friend or assistant there, which I should have done.
Lonely in Thailand by yourself?
So lonely, and I'm not well traveled, so it was like there was a big fear of, just being in that environment for me. And what made it kind of compounded was just like I'm not drinking, I'm not socializing as much. I have a ton of time off because I'm just a supporting character, and I don't have any company. And every time I walk outside, there's like 17 prostitutes trying to give me a massage, and I'm like, this is not good for me. So
Is it really?
I got to the point where I just barricaded myself in my hotel and didn't go anywhere after like the second or third week of 7 weeks. So I got offered a lot of money to do the Richard Jewell miniseries for Charter Broadcasting.
Cool.
My buddy Cameron Britton from Manhunter ended up doing it and rocked it. Great actor. But 3 days after I got offered the TV Richard Jewell thing, they said Clint wants you to star in his new movie, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like a real thing. I go, what is the project?
Is that an
They go,
email or a phone call?
Phone call for sure. Yeah, you can't email it. and I delete it. And so I said, what is the movie? And they said the Richard Jewell movie. And I was like, are you telling me I got offered the same character in opposing competing projects within 72 hours? They're like, yep. One is a huge money offer. The other is just verbal from Clint's producer and casting director. And they go at the exact same time this summer. One's in Pittsburgh, one is in Atlanta. And the movie's at Fox. Disney bought Fox, and Clint only works at Warner Brothers. So he's currently in a fight to get the movie at Warner Brothers. So I'm like, guys, this is not breeding trust. Like, I'm really worried that I'm going to say yes to Clint, and then it doesn't happen, and I turn down a ton of money.
Man.
So I think like half a week, like 4 days or so go by, and they're like, we need an answer from Paul. Is he going to do the show or not? And I had only had the casting director, Jeff Micklak, call me, and his producer, this other dude. And I was like, okay, well, I got to make a decision. So I said, the Bible talks about fear and love. You can only operate out of one or the other, not both. And fear would tell me to take the money. Love would tell me to work with Clint Eastwood. Tell him I'm going to work with Clint Eastwood. And I hung up the phone, and I was terrified. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm by myself in Thailand, and I'm like,
did I make the right choice?
And I just
You go get a massage just to like talk your thoughts out. That's what he told TMZ. I need somebody to talk to. I was lonely.
You know, the only time I've been on TMZ is dancing with Margo Robbie at a bar in Atlanta. Somebody had cell phone footage of us drunk, like pirouetting and acting like ballerinas, being silly. If you look up TMZ, Paul Hauser, Margo Robbie, you'll find it.
Amazing.
But it's like, I never want to be on TMZ again. I've already peaked.
Oh yeah,
it's not going to get
You're not
cooler.
topping
than
that unless you and like Chet Hanks get like frozen yogurt. You ain't topping that.
I feel like Chet and I would come to. That's one of those guys. I feel like I might come to blows. He'd be like, "It's a white boy summer," and I'd be like, "Well, it's an angry black man's winter." And for all of them, I'd like to punch you in the face.
What, you the guy watching Fuck My Butt on that Delta 422 flight? God. Yeah.
I don't know what happened with Colin and Chet. They seem like it feels like Chet bullied Colin in school, right? That's what it feels like.
Colin's still acting. Is that what you meant? You don't know what's happened
I just mean the dynamic. They're so diametrically different that I just wonder. And I guess that's not that weird, though. You meet families where siblings are in sort of contention with one another. You know, they're from the same litter, but they're different dogs.
Also, dude, again, you have a real knack with.
And I'm strong. Did you see that? Liquid death. I think I overcame it like Jesus on the cross. Look at that.
You have a real knack with saying the right stuff at the right time. Do you get that a lot?
I don't know. I've said the wrong stuff too. That's what's scary. Is
1,000%.
I have a big stand-up and improv background, so it's like.
So you commit is what I'm saying, because you see something and I don't see in you a lot of like, not filter, but questioning of yourself. Because in stand-up, and you know this, trusting yourself is a big part of it, and that just comes from reps and an improv.
The good stand-up, because I used to do the constructed stand-up, where it's almost like you're doing an audition rather than dropping in like you're hanging out with them.
Right.
And that was my big disconnect. It wasn't that my material sucked. It wasn't that I didn't have stage presence, but it had to do with a mischaracterization of what that structure had to be. Really, comedy's supposed to be structure in form that becomes invisible.
Right.
And really it feels like you're shitting it out.
Right.
And I never got there. I never graduated.
Well, you did it for how long before you stopped?
Like 12 years, but I didn't do it with the constancy that these guys and gals who are like, well, I deliver sandwiches 6 days a week in New York, and I'm going up at night at 3 different places, and I'm rushing to get there. I never did that breakneck version. But I mean, there's only so much I could do. I mean, we're right by the Comedy Store. I can't tell you how many times I performed in the Belly Room and tore it up in front of 38 people, or how many times I would do the main room and be the best one on a lineup. But like, I never got invited. Nobody ever extended the branch to me in that setting, because that's really not what that setting is anyway. It's not really a, hey kiddo, you're finally on the team. It's kind of hard, man.
Was there something about it being like a solo adventure that was like, because I was doing improv and stand-up at the same time, and then finally just was like, I couldn't get guys in improv to like meet up to do group stuff or shoot sketches. So I was like, stand-up is just me. I just have to worry about me. And that was
great
appealing.
Self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
You can control it. I think I was tired of tugging on Michael Q's, pant leg and like begging to be put on a show where I didn't have to bring people, like it got to the point where I'm like, dude, my friends have all seen me do this 3 or 4 times live. I'm not making them buy $20 mozzarella sticks again. We're done.
I know. I hear you. Who did you like stand-up
And now
wise?
I get to invite them to like movie premieres, and it's like I've gone from begging them to go to my stupid stand-up shows to like inviting them to the coolest night they're gonna have in 5 months.
Those friends are the true homies, and it's cool when you get to like, I've got a few of those too, where you go, oh, you saw me from the get-go when I was doing frat parties, and then you get to come to some cool shit, or that's it's not everybody. Right?
And there's some you got to phase out where you're too close to them to know that they're kind of flirting with usury, and I've only had that happen the last year and a half, where I've had to have other friends point it out. I never see it on my own.
Yeah.
I always have a really smart friend, one of my like 2 smart friends, who like look at what's happening to me and they go, did they just ask you for another favor? And I'm like,
whoa. Cool.
Well, yeah, but it's because they're trying, and then I try to make excuses for them, and they go, no. This person didn't show up to your screening of your short film, and you said they couldn't. Like they'll remind me of the history of other people's transgressions, because I'm quick to forgive, and I go, wait a minute, I haven't really done the mathematics on that. Now that I'm crunching the numbers again, this isn't really a really very good friend. And I don't need to text them back within 30 minutes of every text. But I was that guy for years where it's like everybody gets texted back within 5 minutes. And then in the last year, I was like, this is untenable.
Yeah.
I just woke up to 71 text messages.
Yeah.
And some of these people are not my real friends.
Yeah.
And that's weird. That's a weird, sad, it's almost like a loss. A loss of the purity of just assuming everybody's on your team,
It's good that you have people in your life that can call out like, yo, Eric just asked you for a ride to the airport, and 2 days later he wants $80,000 to invest in a Jell-O shot business. Like, you can't do both.
Yeah,
and you can't always be at people's. I mean, there is a balance, and I struggle with this too, of like being available, being attentive, especially with like family. But then like, there's I think a fine balance between being like helping, but not being what's the word I'm looking for?
Enabling.
Yeah.
Big time, yeah. And I also didn't like how he posed it, where I didn't get to see he's like, I'll send the PDF. I never got the prospectus on the Jell-O shot thing. And then he also, what was fucked up is he batted down my idea of doing the delivery service. I was going to call it Hello Shots and go to the door. And he was like, oh, yeah, dude, I'll see if that domain is taken on the web. And I'm like, you didn't even look it up.
You didn't even look it up, dude. Are you in or you out? What would Demi Sore from... How bad do you want to go on Shark Tank?
Oh, God. I want to go out as a fake shark and nobody knows it. Like, put me in a false nose and a weird haircut and have me just go, yeah, my name is Charles Delacroix. Maybe you've heard of the metal straw. That was fucking me. Who wants to be the next metal straw? Guess how many metal straws you need? One. Put it in the fucking washing machine or something. It'll still work. Like the idea that he's
I want
also
89%
upset.
of your company for $25. Take it or leave it.
2 words, rolling residual. Chewing phantom gum. There's no gum in his mouth, but he's going.
Gum. And every person that comes in goes, are you actually chewing anything?
Yeah, I'm chewing on this idea. I'm thinking of maybe giving you part of my livelihood so you actually have one.
And
By
he's
the way, I
always
don't-
he's always looking at the other sharks like, what is this guy? And they're like, dude, you're actually the problem right now. Like, we have no problem. Everyone's coming in. This is what the show is. Like, you keep acting like these guys shouldn't be coming in.
It should just be Bill Burr one night. He should just show up and be
That's
like,
a great idea.
hey, what's
So tell me about the mittens.
what is this shit? What is it? It's a neck pillow. I think we got those.
Yeah.
I think we got those, Copernicus. I don't think you're coming up with anything new here.
Oh, my God. That's a fucking great idea.
Gilbert Gottfried. Why is everybody trying to sell me on the metal straw? I know you got a million. Give me one. Give me one.
I'll give you
These are my B minus.
Tony. Here's Tony Danza. So tell me more about the fuck swing. Can you do it indoors and outdoors? Hey, my big thing is like I like to get my cardio on, but I also like to bust a nut. So this feels like it's killing 2 birds with one fuck swing.
What I love is you made Tony Danza ask legitimately good questions, even though it was a silly product. He's like, all right, so who are we marketing this to? What's the demo?
What did you ever do? Did you start, like, that was how I kind of got into comedy, was doing impersonation of friends, teachers.
Oh, yeah. No, I did the high school talent show where I impersonated the whole faculty and everybody went ape.
Shut up.
That was like my MO, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you were a funny guy in high school.
Oh, yeah, it was my only identity.
Yeah.
I mean, for better and worse. I mean, I think for better because I made a lot of people happy and lightened the situation or mood in every setting I was in. And that was beneficial for me and everybody else. But the bad one was that it became the winding the monkeys back up a little bit. And I vividly remember I was 16 or 17. I was working at a summer camp called Camp Lulele in Lupton, Michigan. And it was, this wonderful, wonderful experience where it's equal parts. It's just who I am, which is, you're working with kids, you're having fun, you're making macaroni necklaces, you're singing songs, you're doing Bible studies with these kids. But then at night, it's a little debaucherous where the staff is just running around naked in the ball field like a bunch of hippies and,
my God.
like that kind of thing, skinny dipping. And,
It's awesome.
Getting in trouble. But while I was there one summer.
It's what Camp Nowhere should have been, the movie with Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Had it not been on Disney, if it was on I don't know.
It's like Wet Hot American Summer on Disney Plus. That's what it would have been.
Wow, dude.
Which I'm up for if someone will let me make that.
Oh, my God.
I just had a moment where we were out one night, and there were like 7 of us, and everybody kind of paired up, and I didn't have anybody to kind of get under a blanket with. And one girl said to me, she goes, Paul, make us laugh. And they're all laying out by the water under blankets, and I'm standing there alone, and Paul make us laugh, and I'm looking around, and they're all laying on the ground looking up at me, and I was like, I said to myself in my head, I go, I don't know what this feeling is, but whatever it is, I don't like it. And I walked away with my Sony Discman CD player, portable CD player, and I just listened to Tom Petty and Dashboard Confessional by the water, on the water by myself.
This ruined moment is right. Just fucking, I love Dashboard. That was
were
some
you were trying to do this ruined puzzle?
Yep. My man.
Nobody cares at all. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. What?
Screaming Infidelities.
Screaming Infidelities.
Brilliant,
Screaming Infidelities.
Your hair
is everywhere.
Screaming Infidelities.
Dude, that guy was
Taking
so
it.
sad, but so.
I love that guy.
man.
I've seen him live 6 times. I just think he's a really good singer. And all the guys in high school were like, oh, yeah, little
You
sad
like
guy,
Dashboard?
emo, and the guy with the journal who's crying every concert.
Oh, sorry, every relationship didn't work out, but you got a great song out of it. I feel so bad for you. You're like, all right, you're the principal. Take it down a notch. Yeah. Why are you so emotional?
You're my math teacher's husband. Why are
This
you
is a
even
lot of
here today?
info,
It's
Dan.
weird that you're wearing that trench coat. No, it was.
So you hit play and you're listening to.
Dude.
Isn't
I
it
was
amazing?
So schmaltzy. I used to listen to Fire and Rain by James Taylor
Love.
and think about my crushes. Like,
Love.
I was such a dumb little.
I used to
emotional
listen to
teenager.
"Can You Feel the Love Tonight" from the Lion King soundtrack every night for about a week after my 6th grade girlfriend broke up with me.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. This is
Yeah.
still kind of. It has an echoing effect.
Not over it.
Can you imagine?
You just go, okay, man, this has been fun. Is the door that way?
You go Becca, Becky, Rebecca, God,
Janet.
Becca, Becky. I go
Her name was Janet. I dated a Janet in the 6th grade.
a Janet.
Yeah, and she wasn't
Did
a
she
teacher.
grow up to be born in 1948? What did she do
Isn't
for
that
a living?
crazy?
Time travel?
Dude, anytime I would hear Elton John after that, I'd get triggered. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, man. Still
Anytime
the only way I
I'd
can achieve
hear-
an erection.
Is what?
Can you feel the love tonight? That and Spice Girls, wanna make love to you.
Ooh, that was a hot
baby.
song.
You remember that music video? It felt like they were inviting you, a child, to be like, just come upstairs. Your parents aren't here, right? Like, it was just
I
such
could
a
teach you a
weird
couple
transition moment for me and a lot of young men, that
Yeah.
music video.
It was very like they were all
Seductive.
looking right into the camera, but if you were by yourself and you had any sort of a boner, you were like, this song's for me.
Oh, yeah.
And they're trying to get me to do some things.
That I'm not sure I'm allowed to do. My age, case in point.
I need to ask like a relative. I need to sign something. Yeah.
My uncle would just be like, listen, kid, you got
This-
30 minutes. Your parents are coming back.
If the Spice Girls want you to do things with your tongue,
but-
you do it. Are you
the
even-
voice got so creepy. Listen,
Tony
kid,
Danza.
I went from being your uncle to being the kind of guy who looks like Michael Rispoli. No, yeah, they helped me grow up, man. Carmen Electra helped me grow up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like the effects though of what
Yeah.
teenage lust does to an adult man.
Everyone
because
goes through it.
It's human. It's so universal. It's
Yeah.
absurd. But I mean, there's that thing of you do start to judge women totally unfairly without any realistic gaze of what the fuck you look like.
Yeah.
And there's that weird thing that men are just like transformed into these stupid thinkers when it comes to the realistic nature of what your significant other should look like.
Yeah.
And that starts when you're 12 watching music videos.
Yeah. Music videos so sexual when we were coming up.
Dude.
You know? Like that's not even a
It was.
source of stimulation that kids get anymore, right? Like there's no They're not watching. They're skipping.
They're stimulated by. They're not even stimulated by sexuality or sensuality now. Kids are stimulated by being agreed with.
Whoa.
They get off by going, "You agree with me? Yeah, me too." That's the whole deal now. It's just like a growing army of commonality. It's really bizarre.
If this were an episode of Dr. Phil, and you had just said that, I feel like his next line would be, "Where did he touch you?" Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
He touched me on the cruise ship. Then he lied and told everybody we were friends the last 20 years. Fucking Adam Ray. Billy Ray's name triggers the moment just hearing Ray. Manta Ray.
Wait a sec.
Stingray, my character on Cobra Kai.
Stingray.
I asked him to change it. It reminded me of Adam. I don't know how I turned into George. I almost said George Clinton. Bill Clinton.
Dude, I'm halfway in on that impeachment show. That's crazy. Clive Owen as Clinton.
Oh, you're watching it.
Yeah.
Wait, you booked a big one. You booked some big limited series. What was that? Can you talk about it?
Oh,
This is my podcast now. I don't know if I told you.
playing Nixon's press secretary. Is that what I told you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
In the my buddy Ike is in that.
In-
Ike Barinholtz.
In Gaslit.
Yeah.
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 About
That's amazing,
Watergate.
dude.
Yeah, it's cool,
Congrats.
man. Yeah.
They're not just giving those roles out. That's a really important limited series.
They actually did.
Okay. Cool.
Wait, so you're walking away, make us laugh. That's fucked up. Who is the girl that said that? Do you still remember her?
Oh, I don't even, I could venture a guess, but I won't even say it in case I'm wrong because I have such cloudy, unconscious revisionist history.
You start listening to music that's just like
That
fulfilling
validates my
that-
feelings.
yes.
Yeah, it's yeah.
and which I think is important. It's like just that we were joking
I
about
still
it.
do that. Do
Yeah.
you not do that still?
No, 1,000% I do.
Yeah, I don't listen to Neil Young all the time. I listen to him when I'm like, God, my soul feels kind of damp, like a leaf in the rain.
And I want to maximize this feeling, right? If I'm going to feel like this, I want to feel it all the way. I could use a little help from Next. From Too Close by Next.
Album?
Yeah, or anything Brian McKnight.
Whoa.
That guy really backed up a lot of feelings for me.
I like number
Circa
2 of all the numbers of Brian McKnight's. I like number 2 because it was the most straightforward.
It was.
Because 1, you're like a dream come true. 2, just want to be with you.
Yeah. 3, I think it's pretty plain to see.
Are you fucking listening?
How many more goddamn numbers do I have to sing about for you to understand? No, let me finish.
No, let me finish. We go, dude. It's your stepdaughter's recital.
How about Lou Bega? That guy had a lot of cooks in the
kitchen.
kitchen.
No one in his life is saying, how about Lou Bega? I'd just like to remind you, you are the only guy alive who is saying, how about Lou Bega? Maybe his entertainment attorney in 97? How about Lou Bega?
Trying to pitch him for a cooking show? They're like, it's like a Food Network meeting. We're like, all right, who can host Top Chef? How about Lou Bega? Brian, you're fired. Anybody else?
I don't need you out of the room. I need you out the building for that one.
Leave your badge.
This is the same guy who was pushing Lenny Kravitz on us last week. Dude, I love dumb humor, man. My brother and I would do stuff where, like, we were watching Simon Birch one time. Do you know that movie?
Oh, yeah.
And, and we're watching it, and there's a scene at the end. Spoiler alert, you only had 25 years to watch Simon Birch. We're watching.
Wait, is this where it's a kid with dwarfism gets a kite or something?
I can't wait to say that I was the last person you interviewed.
How about Lou Bega?
I don't know what his ailment was, but he had an ailment.
My friend Brad Williams, who's a little
Flies
person.
A kite. He doesn't.
My friend Brad Williams, a little person.
I know Brad.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Brad said that Simon Birch was like his Shawshank or something, or his. What do you say? It was like his. I don't know, fucking
heroic drama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His anthemic drama.
Yeah.
He could identify.
It was like the one where they were like, all right, it's gonna be okay.
I like the movie. Good
what
movie.
happens in it though?
But at the end, there's just this dumb. God, this is gonna build to nothing.
So there's no kite.
No. So at the end of the film, he's like dying in the hospital bed, and Joe Mazzello from Jurassic Park is like, "Hey, you're not gonna die, Simon," even though he knows he's gonna die. It's very emotional. But my brother, while we were watching it, my brother Matt, one time, he was like, what if they just bled in Lenny Kravitz's cover of American Woman in the middle of the scene?
So funny.
And like little things like that.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that
you love that.
Kills me. It's like
the what if.
I would hear stories about Harris Whittles. Did you know Harris?
Yep.
I didn't know him at all, but loved his work. And him and Aziz would have these jokes where they had jokes that Chris Pontius from Jackass had his own late night show. And it was like an inside joke, but then they'd go into pitch meetings with high-powered executives in Hollywood, and they would just slip it in to make each other laugh, where they'd go, so then the second act, the character kind of goes viral, he gets famous. He's on Conan, he's on Good Morning America, Pontius Tonight, and they just bleed through. They would bleed through it just to make each other laugh, and the executives are just like, yeah, Pontius Tonight. And but that is the heart of great humor to me. Is it's not just about the content.
Yeah.
It's who do you get to share with it, where the reaction and the feeling is congruent. Because the congruency of shared comedy is, I would say it's as intimate as sex. And I know because I've had both.
Ooh, and not in that order. We'll be right back. Yo, no.
Is that a Lumix?
Very funny.
Did you just TBS me? Very funny. Paul, you see Richard Jewell? He knows drama. TNT, this guy. USA, this character's welcome.
Oh wow! I was just about to say, what was their
NBC's
slogan?
peacocking me. I
There's
can't
peacocking
stop.
me.
I can't stop. I was trying to name every.
What was ABC? Oh, when you hear your family? No,
ABC
what is ABC?
Proud as a peacock, right?
That's ABC. No, it's
NBC. Proud as a peacock.
They said there's peacocking in me. I was like, there's no way that was NBC's.
ABC's was is Home Improvement still on? Do we still have Home Improvement?
Fuck, I love that show.
Good show. Those kids all turned into crack addicts, right?
How about
I'm
Lou Bega?
kidding. That's me trying to do a Norm Macdonald thing. Oh yeah. I used to love Home Improvement. My favorite thing about Home Improvement is that all the kids turned out to be crack addicts. You totally would have said something.
I fucking miss Norm. That was
love him to
that was a
pieces,
big. Did you? Was he a big
And I
influence on
wasn't
you?
what annoys me. It's not like it matters, but what annoys me is the people who, when he died, who are like, "Yeah, the guy's a genius," and I'm like, "Can you name anything he's done?"
Yeah, please. Did you watch Dirty Work 30 times in the theater?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Me too.
When I was like 12, and I
Yep.
shouldn't have even been there.
Yep.
I love Norm. Never got to meet him. I'm kind of friendly with some of the guys from that Sandler group. I don't know them well, but I'm friendly with Spade and Schwartzman.
Schwartzen, yeah.
I'm so close to him, I don't know his last name. Nick Swartzen, who I love and is super funny. Norm, man, he was one of those people that I just assumed that someday I'll make it big, I'll get to direct a movie, and I'll give Norm one of the best parts in my movie.
No.
Like, he was one of those things. And then he died, and I was like, motherfucker.
What part? What would you have put him in?
I probably would have given him a dramatic role. Like, I would have, like, given him
Wow.
a good role where he has to actually play, like, an ex-addict who's, like, trying to give a life lesson to some kid in a casino and just, like, starts off funny and nice and then ends up yelling at him, and the kid doesn't know that he's drunk and that he's lost everything. Like, I would have put him in
Little St. Vincent? Maybe he's got like a little
Yeah,
Bill Murray meets
yeah.
Matthew Broderick in
because he was capable, man. He
totally.
committed.
He also could have been like the guy who like was the head chef on the cruise ship in our cruise movie.
Oh, yeah.
And he just comes up one day and he just goes, "Hey, we ran out of pepperoni, and also there's a fuck swing
There's
in the bathroom."
I mean, I don't know if it's a fuck swing, but it certainly seems like one. You run a black light on that thing, I'm sure.
I mean, how many bathrooms do you know that have a dildo on the toilet seat? Yeah, the way he went in the paint on OJ was like unreal.
Oh, he just went for. I mean, he went for Clinton too, and by the way, he should, man.
He had this one joke on
Go
Update
for it.
that I'll never forget. I think I even posted it, but he was like, he goes, in the recent book from OJ, OJ said that Nicole Kidman or Nicole, what was it? Nicole Brown Swanson. Was it Nicole Brown Simpson?
Sorry, he's had a lot of liquid deaths today. Super
Nicole
messed up.
Brown Simpson's her last name because yeah, he goes Nicole Brown.
Guys, it's fine. We can laugh about it.
Nicole Brown Simpson. OJ said that he loved Nicole. Would do anything for her. Would stand in front of a train or take a bullet for her. Gee, isn't that just the worst? When the one guy that would die for you kills you.
Oh my god.
And dude, it was like it got such groans.
Oh yeah.
Because like even the studio and look, what I really took away from that was like great joke, Norm pushing the envelope, like doing what he thought was funniest. But like I'm rewatching this clip and I'm like, wow, listen to the audible groans and like discomfort from the audience being like it's weird because now you look at you do that joke, you'd get the groans would be doubled. But I feel like we're in less of an accepting time for jokes like that. But it was still
one of the reasons I feel like I can't even do stand-up anymore is I don't want to lose my whole life because of some random thing I say in front of 70 people.
right.
It's really hard to justify that in my head.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I'm this crass, psychotic, extreme comedy guy. I've never been that guy.
You just
But
want to have the freedom to think and speak.
perfect example. There was a night my brother and I were in New York. I was promoting Richard Jewell or whatever I was doing at the time. And we go to a comedy club where we're just kind of bar hopping. We see they have open mic night. So we just walk in. And it's one of those things where it's like a set piece out of like a Duplass indie movie or something. But like, I just went up and like performed on stage in front of like 7 people. And I had made some joke in there about how I played horrible people. And I talked about Black Klansmen. I said, yeah, I played a racist. And later that night, somebody tweets at me and said, I was just at a comedy show where this guy, Paul Hauser, who's not funny, said something really racist. And I was like, what? And so I hit her back and was like, I said that I was in the movie Black Klansman. I didn't make a racist joke. That's fully incorrect. How could you have gotten there from what I said? And then she tried to defend it. And then like Janelle Riley from Variety and all these other people started chiming in and they're like, you're full of shit. Paul would never do that. We know he's not like that.
Wow.
And people came to my aid, and it happened a couple other times where people were trying to get me canceled over literally nothing. And then other people came and swung in and just started throwing haymakers at the people tweeting at me. And I'm like, I appreciate it because it just showed how nobody's safe, you know? Nobody's safe.
Paul Hauser was seen at Baskin-Robbins getting vanilla ice cream when chocolate was right there, ready to be eaten. Clearly, Black lives don't matter. You're like, wait, what?
And that's the problem is I ordered. God, this is so hard to talk about. I ordered cookie dough. The whole point was like, listen, we're gonna gentrify the white ice cream. We're gonna bring it. We're gonna bring this in here. We're gonna change this. And they, I think that I don't think they took me seriously.
Well,
when I said that,
nobody at Baskin-Robbins takes anything seriously.
who the hell? You go to Baskin-Robbins?
Oh yeah, dude.
No, it's L.A., baby. Jenny's, McConnell's. What are you doing?
Who are they?
Is this a? Are you putting me on? Is this a bit?
We got you there. We got you there. We got you there. You're on my new hidden camera show called Yeah, Man, We Eat Baskin-Robbins.
Okay,
Psych.
you basked me there. I'll admit it.
Come on out, guys.
Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, get out of here.
Yeah. Well, you got smelled. You got shower.
Dude, Baskin-Robbins is dead to me. Ever since I tried Jenny's ice cream, which is my new favorite. It's on it's everywhere, but it's on Hillhurst by like Lil Dom's.
Love Little Doms.
Well, when you finish your Lil Dom's, you get that cute little ass down to Jenny's, and you grow it with a couple scoops, babe.
If that's not the commercial, at least the
Have you
audio
ever been
version.
sexually harassed mid-bite of a pumpkin cream sorbet? Well, if you haven't, come on down to...
Oh shit.
Oh my God.
Wait. So I want to finish this story before we wrap this up. Can we pull this mic down a little bit more in front of your face,
I'm
by the way? Right.
Sorry, this is my first time talking.
You're fine. A little bit more. Good. Okay. Good. Is it not comfortable? Now is that not comfortable?
Okay. No, it's fine. I just don't want to get canceled because of how the mic is.
You get canceled for anything. Paul, no. TMZ. Actor Paul Hauser missed his mouth again.
Again, guy keeps missing the mark, if you will. By mark, we mean his mouth with a liquid death can. I was in a Zoom meeting for a table read for my new show on Apple, the one with Taron Egerton. I told you about that, right?
No.
So I played a serial killer in this 6-episode limited series for Apple.
Whoa.
A real serial killer named Larry Hall.
Whoa.
And it's me, Sepida Moafi, Taron Egerton, Ray Liotta, Greg Kinnear, Robert Wisdom. Great cast. But when I was on the Zoom for the table read, everybody was talking about like, hey, we just got Moderna, I just got Pfizer, I just got Dumbreka. Like everybody had their like thing.
Yeah.
And I said that I had Johnson & Johnson. And
they
kind of looked at me. Yeah, they kind of looked at me on the Zoom. Everybody, Ray Liotta, everybody is on the Zoom.
Ray Liotta's like, you didn't get Chantix?
How come you don't use Chantix? It could save your ass. Well, save a lot of things.
Talking about the vaccine, right?
His voice is so funny.
It's amazing.
His voice is really kind of groggy now, where it's like now it kind of sounds like this, like an angry mobster who's actually trying to tell you that he's not angry. It's like that. But we're on the Zoom, and I said to them I had a full glass of water, and I just committed to the bit like we talked about. And I go, there haven't been that many side effects. And then I went to take a sip, and I just poured the whole glass of water on my face, and everybody just starts cracking up.
Good for you, dude.
And the first thing when I go in the hair and makeup trailer, I see Ray Liotta, and he's like, yeah, the guy that did the thing with the water. It was hilarious. Immediately brought it up. It was
You're
so
that guy to Ray Liotta. That's fucking awesome. And he
Nah.
remembered it. Then he found it funny.
He loved it. We
Good
only
for
had one
you.
day together, but I asked him questions about Goodfellas and Cop.
One Day with Ray. There's a
One Day
documentary
with
I'd
Ray.
watch.
Is it you or is it
It's you,
Leona?
dude. It's you. No.
Always goes back to you. Billy Ray, Ray
Which
Liotta.
Ray is it? One Day with Ray, where you follow me and Ray Liotta getting Baskin
Comedians
Robbins.
in cars with Rays getting Jennies and sexually assaulted.
Got it. Hello, Hollywood.
Hello, Ted Sarandos, my best friend. Teddy Baby, have you looked at the numbers from Hulu? Me neither. So listen.
I've got
I
another
this
Liotta
idea.
project.
Got another one with the Rays.
Yeah.
Winstone's not available, but I got Adam and Liotta.
Let's think about the most famous Rays. That's the first name Ray. Liotta. Let's just go back and forth for a minute here.
Okay, you start. You said Liotta. Kind of a gimme. I already brought
Let's take him.
up.
Let's take him out of the equation. Start fresh. Charles.
Ray. Oh. God, God, I was gonna say Ray Charles, Ray Liotta, Ray Charles, Raymond Usher, Raymond.
Great. Can we?
Usher.
We can accept that. Ray Finkel.
I'm in Crazy Town, and Finkel's the mayor.
Melissa, it's Ace.
His energy is so brilliant in that. Ray Winstone from The Departed and Beowulf.
Beowulf. Great movie to see on a pop brownie at Universal City Walk IMAX.
That's what my attacker said too.
Oh no!
The exact same thing.
Wait, so you're playing a serial killer. Who is this guy? Who did he kill?
He I mean, not to bring it down too much because it's certainly not a fun story, but he like raped and kidnapped and murdered like a dozen women, but that was like what he confessed to. You got to go back and look at the really damning consistent evidence of what he did, and you'll find there were copycat cases in the same region within like 30 to 70 miles.
Wow.
So really it was probably more like 25 or 30 maybe that he just didn't confess to the other ones. You know?
That's a that seems like a really daunting thing to take on, right? I mean, like
it is.
You've played, and so this is based on a real guy or no?
Real guy, yeah. Real guy, not famous like Charlie Manson. Like I didn't have a million YouTube clips to watch. Like I had to go off. I had like 12 seconds of composite audio and then all the files. That was it.
Do you prefer that?
I prefer what I had with Richard Jewell. I had like 45 minutes to 2 hours worth of footage. It made it so much easier.
Just to fully absorb and just.
Yeah, and like once again, you don't want to do the SNL thing where it's a caricature. You're trying to embody the person, but like. What's nice about all that footage is you get contextual clues about a person the way you would anybody else.
Right.
Just by virtue of people watching. So it's like, it's super helpful to have the footage. I know Jesse Eisenberg said something about, he like tried to drive up to Silicon Valley to meet Mark Zuckerberg, and like the studio called him and they were like, turn around. We don't want you to meet him. Fincher doesn't want you to meet him. We think it's a bad idea, blah, blah, blah. And my thing is like, had I had more time and connectivity, I definitely would have visited him in prison before shooting it.
Wow.
And I still want to. I don't want to, like, I want to go to Chuck E. Cheese, but I want to, like, I would love to help the authorities, let the show come out. Hopefully it's a success. Let them get wind of it and see if I could interview him or visit him and, like, and try to convince him to give up where the rest of the bodies are or some more information to give closure to the families.
When does it come out?
Comes out this spring, I think.
Good for you on Apple.
I would like to insert myself there, assuming it's not inappropriate. I just want to be helpful.
Also with it was Dale and I, Tonya, right?
Dale was Virginia. I, Tonya was Sean Eckhart.
Sean,
yeah.
that's right. How much did you you were so, again, Richard Jewell is so good, but you were so good in I, Tonya, dude.
Thanks, man. I love that role. That role was like
you did.
John Goodman and Big Lebowski. I was like, dude,
okay,
this is going to be so fun. I know how to play this. I'm going to improvise.
You brought a lot of comedy to that, too. Like that, you made this guy likable, dude.
I don't know if he's likable. He's entertaining.
Okay, fair split the difference.
But I love, dude. We partied a lot on that movie. We had a lot of fun. Work hard, play hard. Now I'm glad I'm out of that phase. I'm glad that at the end of a work day, I'm dying to freaking Postmate some food, watch Netflix, and go to bed. Like I love that.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't trade that legitimately.
Yeah.
But
that movie was a good time. It
sure was fun to like work 3 out of 5 days, have 2 days off, and then on the weekends, Margo and Sebastian are like, let's all play ping pong and drink our faces off. Like things like that were just like. It just made it feel like what I call adult summer camp, where it's like, you know, this is really us soaking in the moment and like letting ourselves get swept up in the fun, you know.
Not every project's like that, right? It truly depends on the cast and, right?
Depends on the cast and sometimes the tone of the movie. I, Tonya was like a true dark comedy, so, you know, there were days where we left laughing till our bodies hurt, you know what I mean? And that's not the case on other stuff. Other stuff is just taxing, and you get in the big cast van and you go back to set and everybody's quiet.
Richard Jewell, Clint wasn't coming up to you being like, there's a Dave & Buster's 15 miles away.
Hey, kid, there's an indoor trampoline park. A lot of single moms.
A lot of single moms.
What do you say we tuck in our T-shirts and act like a couple of squares, rake one of these ladies in. We went. That was another adult summer camp where like every night, me, John Hamm, Sam Rockwell, Olivia Wilde, sometimes Clint or Kathy Bates would go out and like, let's get a salmon and let's get a steak and 2 plates of pasta and 2 bottles of wine and cocktails and let's just pass them around.
Whoa.
Pre-COVID, where we're all sharing plates and drinks.
Whoa.
It was fun.
Sam Rockwell legit is in my top 5 favorite actors.
Me too. I think mine go Sam, Christian Bale. Living or all time?
Let's go living first.
Living, I would say Christian Bale, Sam Rockwell, Michael Shannon. I think
Michael Q.
I don't want to hate on Michael Q.
No, I love Michael Q. That was a fun callback, and that came into my head, and I wanted to say it.
He was
Michael Q gave me a lot of spots on a lot of shows too.
Michael Q was very nice to me until I just had to stop doing the Bringer shows, and then I became good buddies with TK, and then TK had me do Bringer shows.
How many people are you bringing? I need to know for I'm setting up the chairs. Is that
TK? And I love
TK,
so this is nothing I wouldn't say to his face. TK would always text me and be like, I just got to know how to set up the room, and I'm like,
that's why
that's not a real thing.
No, and this is also a part of when you run a successful Bringer show business like TK and Michael Q did, do maybe still. You are, in a way, and you can't help it. You have to. Look, in some they always did a good job of spots and pay, but there are people that I'm sure we've both done where you're like, wow, I brought 40 people to the show and made you so much money, and you gave me $30 and I went at the end when only my friends were still there.
Dude.
So, and you're always doing that. So it's like there's an ass backwards way to do it, but those guys at least were,
you gotta watch the seesaw. If it tips too far one way, that's usually time to get out.
Yeah.
My thing was, even the first night I ever did the Comedy Store, in I think it was February 2010, I did the Belly Room. I brought like 24 people or something. No, I brought like 19 people, I think. And they told me, we're going to give you $5 for everyone you bring after 10 people or whatever. So I was like, whoa, $45. And then they gave me like $29. They stiffed me like $15.
What a weird amount.
And I was just like, I was kind of mad, I remember. And then also I had a chip on my shoulder because Amir K and I are friendly now, but like the night I showed up, no one knew me. I was fresh. I was in LA for like 4 months.
Yeah.
And Amir K saw me with a puppet, and he goes, "Prop comic, great." Ripped it off my hand, threw it across the room, and all the comics started laughing at me and like shitting on me.
Oh no!
And then
I went. Fucking kidding
and
me?
then I went up, and me and Fortune Feemster were loudly the best people out of like 8 comics, and I murked that room with the puppet. And
I was
that wasn't the whole act.
Amir,
it was just a bit in the beginning.
I was gonna say Amir and your puppet are sitting in the back, and the puppet just looks at Amir and goes, "Take that, you bitch."
Eat that, you little trout sniffer.
Eat that, you little trout sniffer.
One, two.
But where's Paul's hand? Yeah.
But for the record, Amir's been nothing but cool to me.
Amir's the best.
It was one of those things back in the day where a sensitive guy who's new to town.
Yeah.
And then the moment, and anytime that happened back then, I was like, oh, you just made my set better.
Who knows?
Now I'm angry.
Of course. And who knows what had just happened prior. I give benefit of the doubt. Amir could have just had to follow a puppet at the Improv who murdered, and maybe the puppet was like, hey, I don't want to be the guy coming up next after this. I bet he's got some fucking weird last name with 1 letter. You know, like he could have been. Right.
They'll want to be Jeff Dunham.
That guy.
By the way, how's that not a movie? How's there not a mockumentary film about a
Christopher Guest about a Jeff Dunham who's who maybe him and Jeff were coming up together, and then
he was the one who didn't get it, and he's called maybe the movie's called The Stiff.
Ooh.
And that guy ends up opening for the guy who made it, but he finds out that guy is a really bad guy who like cheats on his fiance and mistreats his like.
He won like the America's Got Talent too, right?
Yeah.
So he got his whole showcase tour, and this
guy.
This
is a movie. This could be a thing.
This is really good actually, because then you get those judges played by like Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, that'd be the best.
You know, as like the Simon maybe.
Stunt cast get Peter Serafinowicz to play Simon Cowell or something.
Get Peter Sarsgaard to be like the host.
That was going to be one of the guys on my list.
Oh yeah, finish.
I love those. I love Pete Sarsgaard, Mike Shannon, Christian Bale, Sam Rockwell, and the fifth spot might be like
Danny
Ben
Bonaducci.
Foster, maybe.
Oh.
Pete Bonaducci.
Oh man, just trying to
My
think.
favorite boxer.
Was he a boxer?
He did the celebrity boxing thing.
Oh, that's
I
right.
told you I used to keep up with the pop gossip.
Yeah.
The possum.
Tony Danza, also a big boxer from back in the day.
Oh man.
This guy, dude, I had him on the podcast, let's say 6 years ago.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, and he told
that's
me he's
fun.
like I used to go put up posters of my boxing matches in like taxi in like the waiting room and be like, guys, come to my matches, and Chris Lloyd would be like, we're not coming to your matches.
That was a good Christopher
Yeah,
Lloyd.
and he'd be like, and then some people will come, DeVito came, and cheer me on, and that's what I want to do. I want to be a boxer, I want to be his TV thing was just like whatever. I want to be a boxer. I want to be a champion boxer. I want to be a couple of a Wheaties box. I want to have my own meatball.
I'm silenced by how good your impressions are right now. You're like my buddy Justin Ruppel.
Justin, I know very well.
Love Justin.
How do you know Justin?
TK shows.
He's in a
Justin
throuple
and I
now.
were the guys who would. I know.
Crazy. Let's talk about this.
How's that not? By the way, forget everything we pitched previous.
Forget it.
Nothing is more interesting than a throuple reality.
And his last name's Ruppel.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I told him this. I was like, missed opportunity, dude. One of your hashtags when you announced this wasn't Ruppel Thruple,
Oh man.
which is a flavor at Baskin Robbins. You wouldn't know that though,
Listen,
because you're a Jellies girl, or what is it, Jannies?
Jenny's 1N. Let me tell you about Jenny's. Here's the difference. I'm going to tell you the difference between your girl and mine. Baskin Robbins is like, hey, I had my second drink. I'm taking my top off. Above ground swimming pool. What a party. Jenny's is like, I didn't put my degree on my wall in a frame because I already know I'm capable of doing my occupation.
Ooh.
And I'll get topless, but it's for you, and I won't tell you when. It's just for you, not a bunch of people in my backyard with a above ground pool.
Can I be honest?
That's the difference.
I haven't heard a better explanation.
Jenny's has confidence. Baskin Robbins is just running around like a chick with her head cut off because of past trauma. I don't blame her. She didn't grow up in the best environment. You're a product of such things.
Oh man.
I'm just saying, there's a big difference. And let's not even make it female. Let's turn the navel gaze on the boys. Baskin Robbins is a guy named Tommy. His favorite comedy is Without a Paddle. Now, there's nothing wrong with Seth Green. There's nothing wrong with Matthew Lillard. And I'll even go as far as to say there is really nothing wrong with Dak Shepard. But Tommy thinks that's like the best comedy. And his dad's his hero mostly because he's confident. And Tommy isn't. That's Baskin Robbins. Jenny's, the male Jenny, is I almost said Richard Jenny, but I don't have enough to go off that.
You could run for mayor on this platform,
Jenny's,
by the way. You're speaking like a that's
I'm
a
speaking
part
like the dumbest person you've
this
ever
is
had on the
this
show.
is a part, by the way, I see in your future.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
All right, we got to wrap this up. That's a part I see in your future for sure. I don't know what future parts you're like, even like now.
The male Jennies. The
Well,
guy,
no, like a
the
guy
with
running
the Windsor nut.
a
No,
guy
what?
like. Did you ever see the campaign with Farrell and Galifianakis?
I did. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
That was good.
but more of a more of a dark comedy. I feel like where you are somebody in office. I feel like.
Oh,
is
I
a-
would love that.
Yeah,
man.
I feel like you would crush that.
I
dude.
think I'm going to be a better actor when I'm older. Like, I think when I'm like 55, I'm going to hit a really cool streak of playing like evil politicians and like dads who have lost everything.
Yeah.
And just like, I think everybody's going to be like, I think in like 20 years, everyone's going to be like, dude, Paul Hauser's a really good actor. And then some people are going to be like, the guy from Cobra Kai?
The guy from all those Jenny's commercials?
The guy who's way too passionate about his faith?
Like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Savages, parts like that.
Yeah, man.
Love.
Phil and Daniel Day-Lewis is my number one, and then when Phil
yes.
died, I reassessed and I went, nope, Phil's my number one.
He was on.
Phil Hoffman, man.
Real
Phil
dude.
and Chris Farley, those are my two. When I accepted an award at some award show, and I gave a speech, and I just said, I dedicate this to Phil Hoffman and Chris Farley, the guys who
Whoa.
made me believe that there was a place for me in Hollywood.
No way.
Yeah. It wasn't like the Oscars, but it meant a lot to me. That
I saw that. I think part of that speech that was for Richard Jewell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big award.
Yeah, I think it was the National Border Review, and then something in L.A., the Hollywood Film Association.
Yeah, like a Game Changer Award, right? Was it what it was? Or like,
yeah,
like a breakout role?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's on YouTube. So
Yeah.
we put that on YouTube.
It was very cool, man.
I gave some love to Anton Yelton at the end, who
Yeah.
I miss just like Phil. Anton was just a real artist, which I used to make fun of that word. I think it's so
really?
cringy, like, yeah, we're artists. I'm doing a chewing gum commercial. But it is. What you do is artistry. What I do is artistry. Like, it is an art form, and it takes a lot of work that people don't see.
Yeah.
And so when they die, I look back and I go, no, Phil Hoffman, Anton Yelton, Paul Newman, these are artists, man. Heath Ledger, what he did with the Joker.
Unreal.
I know he gets looped in with all these, like, cringy youth male movements, the Joker in general. The internet's like,
Right.
if you like the Joker movie, you're probably one of the Proud Boys, and
Right.
it's like, or you just like movies, but
Dope cinema.
but I always looked at it like, man, what Heath did with the Joker, who thought someone was gonna do Joker better than Jack? Like, let's leave on this note of anyone listening who dreams about doing anything cool. Who ever believed that Heath Ledger, the guy from
10 Things I Hate About
Brokeback
You.
Mountain and 10 Things, is going to be a better Joker than Jack? And in my opinion, he 100% was a better Joker.
Me too.
And it's like, that should be a lesson to all of us to, like, you can surpass and you can do anything crazy that you put your mind to, but it is a craft, and it does take that artistic diligence, which, I don't show up to set and just, I'm Richard Jewell. Like, that takes some weird soul searching and work. And whereas I can show up on Cobra Kai and just,
There are some,
I can have fun. I
Yeah.
can,
So there are some things where you can kind of do, not bare min, but where you can slip into it a little bit.
Yeah, like, I never did Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but, like, I would imagine if someone cast me in a guest star on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like, I just show up and be like, okay, I'm funny. Let's roll.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky that that's a thing.
Yep.
But drama, I think drama. I hate that when they say comedy, dying is easy, comedy's hard. They have, like, those catchphrases and stuff. It's like, no, it's not. If you do comedy, it's not hard. It's like saying to a tall guy, like, dunking's hard. It's like, no, it's not. I'm tall. I'm 7 foot tall.
I was like, you're the tallest 7-year-old ever.
Tiptoes, got it. But drama, I really do believe drama's hard, and that's why my heroes are not all SNL alumni. They're mostly these warped character actors like Rockwell and Mike Shannon.
Well, you're one of my heroes, especially because when I reconnected with you at my show in the round at Supernova over on Hollywood and Whitley, go check it out. They have killer shows all the time. And I look in the audience and I see you, and you were wearing, what T-shirt were you wearing? It was because I saw that first.
I constantly wear pro wrestling T-shirts. Maybe it was a wrestling shirt.
It might have
I
been.
don't remember.
And it was something where it just was, if there's a shirt that sticks out sometimes, I'm looking to make some small talk bullshit. I saw it. It wasn't a Dr. Pepper shirt. I feel like it was something.
Pepsi.
That's what it
I
was.
had on like a vintage old school Pepsi insignia.
So I saw that, and I didn't know what was going to come from it, but it just made me want to start talking to you. And then I looked down at the shirt first, and then kind of did a pan up to the face and was like, mid-bit while I'm talking. Like, I'm just registering this. And I was like, oh, shit. So then I was like, well, now I'm not going to, like, involve you or bust your balls or call you out.
You actually just were really nice. You, like, complimented me, and then suddenly
you got
a
to
dozen
leave.
people looked over at me. Well, it was before I left. Because after you were the first person to point it out, then Brad and a couple other people went on, like 3 other comics. And then every comic had a moment where they'd look at me and, like, give me, like, a nod or a wink of respect or call me out. And then you came up after, like, 3 other comics, and we're going to do the bit with the piano guy.
Yeah.
And I was getting up to
right.
leave, and you were like,
oh, that's right.
You did a big thing, and, like, just were like, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Jewell or whatever. And I was like, holy shit.
No, I was like one of the greatest actors of our generation. And then you started to walk out because you're like, I go, really, Paul, you're leaving? And you go, sorry, man, I got to get to something. And then I went up there with Avery Pearson. We started doing some piano stuff. And then we started improvising a song about you leaving and, like, walking out on our dreams. And you just, dude, in classic, like, true artist comic, like, just gangster fashion, you slowly turn as we're singing to you, and you start to walk back. You put your finger in your mouth and you do like this funny thing, and then you start doing this you did like a high kick and a spin.
I danced a little bit, and I took my shirt off.
You took your shirt off, and then you just start and people start going nuts, and then once people start to kind of pick up and be like, oh shit, it's fucking that guy, and then everybody started really just getting into it, and then you had this moment at the end of it where you closed out the whole bit, where you just you almost felt like you were in a trance.
Yeah, I acted like I broke the trance, and I felt my body and went, oh, and quickly
covered up and ran out, dude. And it was just very few people would take that on, and that was awesome.
At the end of the day, I don't need to be remembered for working with Clint Eastwood. I definitely, whenever God calls my number, I really hope the only thing anyone focuses on is, oh, that dude dropped his pants at my high school graduation. It was the greatest. Like that matters to me exponentially more than because at the end of the day, isn't it just fun to make people laugh and just goof around?
Yeah.
And when they think people are just, nobody knows who I am still. It's still a thing where I'm still trying to make my way. But when people do call me out, it's way more fun to lean into who I am than lean into who they think I might be.
Love that.
And so if I can spill a drink on myself in a Zoom to get a joke, or
keeps you
make an
right?
announcement in public that's unnecessary,
Yeah.
It's about self-amusement, giving them a memory, and they get to have fun too.
I love that. All right, we're going to close this out. Inside the Actor Studio was one of my favorite shows. R.I.P. James Lipton, not here. You no doubt would have been on at some point. So we're going to do Lipton's 10-question final questionnaire to get to know Paul Hauser. W, right?
Paul W.
Paul W. Hauser. First question. Here with Paul W. Hauser. Paul, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word is probably recalcitrant.
And what the fuck does that mean?
I think recalcitrant is at least alluding to someone being uncooperative.
I love that. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word is oh God, I think my least favorite word is probably no. It hurts too much.
What turns you on?
What turns me on?
Sexually or not?
Sexually, tan lines. Not non-sexually. What turns me on is people in their element where they can only be themselves.
Awesome. What turns you off?
Accusations. Let me rephrase that. Accusations that are less rooted in truth and more rooted in an attitudinal stance.
What is your favorite curse word?
It's probably fuck because it's just so accessible to everything.
Did you hit the F hard or more of a CK man? Or a TK man? How many chairs should we set up for the room?
Maybe I'm a U man. Fuck.
Love that.
Yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know.
What sound or noise do you love?
The sound when a 2-year-old starts to say full-on sentences and it just sounds like it's out of a cartoon and not real life.
So funny, dude. What a very specific and hilarious observation. That is
wonderful.
Because you get pieces of the sentence, you start to understand that they're trying to convey something and just can't get it.
The cookie is chocolate chip cookie? That, sentences like that.
Yeah, dude.
It's the best.
Which I feel like is how I'm going to talk when I'm 90, if I make it to that.
That's how I'm going to talk if I keep smoking weed. This
The cookie is
chocolate cookie. Paul, we've been done with the podcast for 6 real hours of human time.
Paul, they're closing the 7-Eleven, man. We got to go.
You're dying a liquid
They're
death,
closing
sir.
7-Eleven? I thought they were 24 hours.
The 7-Eleven is 24/7?
If that's not, that sounds like a Tony.
Put it in a meme. Make me internet famous.
That sounds
Make
like a
them care.
vocal warm of Tony Danza back on the set of Who's the Boss. The 7-Eleven is 24/7. The 7-Eleven is 24/7. Badoo badoo badah badoo badoo badah.
Back when he was.
This-
You turned him into a Muppet. Kurdish Fernin, Kurdish murder. Swedish Chef.
The Swedish Chef, dude. Oh man, one of the most underrated Muppets
Where's
on
that
show.
biopic? Guy goes to La Cordon Bleu.
You said that
Doesn't know he's gonna.
You said that with so much fucking sincerity, dude. Where the fuck is that movie, huh?
Where's the Grover movie? I'm not talking about Cleveland. I mean the blue guy. By the way, shout out to my man for wearing that Green Bay hat. Go Pack, go. Same here.
I'm becoming more and more a fan of Aaron Rodgers, man.
Dude, he's the coolest. I did a sketch with him for the ESPYs. He was awesome.
What?
Super cool. His favorite movies are like Princess Bride, My Python and the Holy Grail, and Big Lebowski.
Oh,
he's got
he
the
gets
best
it.
taste in movies.
Yeah, that rules.
Sorry, Mr. Lipton, you're totally screwing me over on my question.
Oh,
man. This is my big moment. Sean Penn sat in this chair.
better
Barbra
restaurant.
Streisand.
Better restaurant. Popcornopolis.
Or
the Cheesecake Factory.
I don't know. I love a menu with 9,000 options.
You must be speaking of Popcornopolis.
Yes. No.
Well, what sound or noise do you hate?
Sound or noise do I hate? The sound of somebody doing that clicking thing where they'll just go.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
And it's like, is there fucking
There's no point to
grandfather
that.
clock in your esophagus? What is that noise?
Yeah, it's not like cracking your knuckles where you feel like you're like releasing something. That is
No.
just like truly to be annoying.
It's not satiation. It's your own anger that you're taking out in a minuscule fashion.
Yeah. Where's that biopic? That's a good T-shirt, by the way. Where's that biopic?
How do we put the title? The title is the sound. How do we put that in? I don't know how to phonetically. How do we do it?
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
In the words of Kate Hudson, playing Drew Barrymore in the spoof of Inside the Actors Studio in the late 90s SNL, a knife maker.
Oh, my God. What a fucking great answer. What profession would you not like to do?
I don't think I would be a very good male model.
I don't know. When we worked out and I was able to come work out with Paul, which, by the way, you're crushing it and we're crushing it.
Thanks,
and
man.
you're
Got a
looking
ways to
great.
go, but
You're looking
yeah.
great.
Thanks, man.
You generously came out of the locker room, showered and clean, waxed and taxed and vaxxed, and you came out and you, I think, tied your shirt up and then leaned up against the wall effortlessly.
Yeah.
And I grabbed a
That's,
couple shots to send to JCPenney kids, and they have not responded yet. But
But that
you
doesn't mean no. Why are you laughing? Oh, it's a bit.
We got you there. We got you there. We got you there. No,
All right.
you
I'll
lean-
settle for Sears and Roebuck. I don't need JC.
you leaned up on that door thing very.
Oh yeah, I showed you the basement. I showed off the basement like it was the foyer.
Yeah, but you had a lot of like natural swag as far as like in the pose department, which that's what you need. I feel like as a model, right? You got to be comfy in front of the lens.
And a visible Adam's apple is part of it too. I'll bet. And I'm not there yet.
1,000%.
I'm not there yet. It's
Or a
somewhere
little-
behind that turkey gobble and behind. Freaking Santa sack in my front of my face.
The Adam's apple, or I feel like a little bit of crack.
At ass crack?
Damn, dude. What other type of crack is there?
Ladies and gentlemen, you need somebody to unclog your pipes.
Is this a Jenny's commercial? All
You
right,
walk
last
into
question.
Jenny's, you smell the veritable sugar in your nose, and some guy just comes up and starts massaging your clavicle with his thumb, just rotating counterclockwise, going, "What's your favorite flavor?" And I go, "Not now, Bo Bridges." Sorry, I don't know why. I
Bo
pulled him into
Bridges
this.
works at Jenny's?
Not now, French Stewart.
Is that the guy from the movie The Wizard?
I love that he just brought up the Wizard. Tobey Maguire's on-screen debut, I believe.
Shut up.
Simon, is that right?
Is he
My boy
Fred
Simon
Savage's
Bennett knows
brother?
Toby.
No, the kid who's the gamer is the kid who would go on to star in Little Big League.
Yes.
Luke Evans.
Yeah.
No, Luke Edwards. Luke Evans is
Gaston in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've heard. I don't watch that shit.
I fucking read an article once and I was forced to read for a part about how dope Disney movies are.
I only eat weights and lift chicken wings. Wait, what was the last question? Sorry.
Cut to you singing A Whole New World, both parts, in a Thailand karaoke bar.
Don't you
Do you know that
Some of
song?
the ideas aren't going to be shows. I don't know if I can sell that.
I know.
I
You
don't know
travel.
if I can sell that to the Travel Channel.
You doing
Try
karaoke
as I might.
all over the world? You know, real
she
quick.
bangs, she bangs. By episode 5, I'm not really into it. My heart's not into it. Oh,
Dennis-
baby, when she moves.
Dennis Haskins, who played Mr. Belding on Saved by the Bell.
I know who Dennis Haskins is.
He was
I
one
had
of
a
the
childhood also.
He was one of the first celebs I met out here.
Oh, yeah, at the place in
Dimples.
Burbank. Yeah.
And he was telling me how he was trying. He had ladies all around him, and he was like trying to tell us how he was trying to get VH1 to do a show about him doing karaoke in Burbank. And
Oh,
I was like,
my.
I'd watch the fuck out of that. And I remember my buddy afterwards being like, "You were real supportive of that idea." I was like, "You wouldn't watch that?" I was being genuine.
You
He's
were
like, "I
real
know."
supportive of
He's
that
like, "I was surprised at how much you wanted to see that show."
Sound like you were trying to join his posse. You wanted to be one of the Barker girls
the-
underneath the Haskins wing.
One of the Haskins beauties. The theater guy? No, Dennis.
The one time I went to Dimples, I only went one time.
And saw him?
2013 maybe. It was right before it closed down. Because I don't think it's up and running anymore.
No.
But I saw him there, and I was like, it's so weird because that's one of the things you hear when you move to L.A. Everybody's like, dude. I remember when I moved to L.A., Aaron Paul was like, dude, you got to go to the Point Break musical. That was like a big thing back then.
Cool.
And then the other thing was everyone's like, go to Dimples. Mr. Belding's there every night with
I
two
love that.
girls who may or may not be from here.
And a Jewish guy who's oddly supportive of his next project.
Very supportive.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You didn't do it perfect, but neither did anybody else. I love you. Here's an escalator. We heard you don't like stairs.
Paul W. Hauser. You fucking rule, man.
Hey.
I love you, dude.
Love you, man. God bless you.
This was a really, there's got to be a better way to close these out. That's the second awkward fist bump I've done with someone.
There's no audio. I'll tell you that much. It doesn't play. Fist bumps never play on podcasts.
They don't, huh?
No.
Because you can't hear it. Another great T-shirt. Fist bumps never play on podcasts.
If a fist bumps in a podcast studio, does it? What is that? If a tree falls in the woods thing? What is it?
If a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, did it really fucking fall?
So what would the equivalent be for? How do we copy and paste that?
If
Fist bumps in a podcast studio
and nobody and you can't hear it, then was the podcast actually worth recording?
Is this even real?
If the Swedish Chef wasn't the third best Muppet,
Third best. Who are the first two then?
oh, I'm going to have to go hard in the paint with Fozzie because my first VHS tape was Are You As Funny As Fozzie Bear that my single mom bought me to, I guess,
Waka
fill...
Waka, man.
Waka, man. Another great T-shirt. Fuck, dude. Picture a Swedish Chef with Where's My biopic. It's very funny. And then just Fozzie, Waka Waka, man.
I love that.
With Matthew McConaughey just in a fucking...
Waka Waka, man. You know, by the way, when McConaughey is old, the charm's going to wear off.
He'll
I'm
call
gonna
his
leave you
agent
with
and be
this.
like, I want to play Fozzie Bear in the Fozzie Bear biopic. They're like, hey, man, that's an email question.
They go, listen, not even the Oscar. I'm sorry, doorstop is going to get you that one. It's a matter of when some of these guys are older, because it's one thing to mythologize.
Yeah.
It's one thing to aggressively mythologize yourself. But when you're older, you just by virtue of being elderly, you are going to forget everything. So by the time McConaughey is like 75, he's going to be like, yeah, man, so there I was.
Eating
Me,
Cocoa Puffs.
Bill Clinton, and Chris Tucker. We're on a flight to something called Epstein, and we're going to be like, dude, this is not good.
Nine people behind him
You're
going,
not on the manifest. You're not on the flight.
we can't use this in the book.
Don't say it. I had a green light. No, you did not have
No.
a green light. We told you not to go there. It's not a nonprofit. Place where a child. No. But I'll end on this. Hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself.
Ooh, hot take to be continued.
Not even a hot take. Come on. Good
I just like saying that.
Good God.
I like saying hot take, or if someone, or this is what I used to do in
I'm
high
gonna
school.
say hot pocket. Like Gaffigan. So it's a hot take. Just go. That's a piping hot pocket. You might want to cut that in half and let it breathe for a minute before you take a bite into that one.
When I used to say jokes in high school that wouldn't go over well, especially with girls, I'd go, "Oh, you haven't seen that?" And they're like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, it's from a movie. You haven't seen Pacino?" And then I just do what I just said as like
Pacino,
an actor, yeah. And they'd be like, I mean, I used to do that on the studio tour when I worked at Universal. I'd like be like, you guys, I'd tell the driver, I go, we got to stop. These bushes to your left before we go to Wisteria Lane. You might remember they were in the film Bushes and Bushes 2, Attack from the Bushes. You might remember that scene when Pacino was like, we got to get out of these bushes. And everyone's like, holy shit.
Oh, and then they just start,
Take
oh
pictures,
my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
how I treated that
just,
job.
I would just do it for movies I knew they hadn't seen. See that car? Jackie Earl Haley jerked off in that car in the movie Little Children in 2006. Everybody's like, cool, where's Godzilla?
Dude, I was fumbling facts left and right. I was like, you guys remember that courthouse from Escape from L.A. starring Kurt Warner? And then everyone's like, one guy came up to me after, he goes, you know, it's Kurt Russell, not Kurt Warner. And I was like, yeah, man, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought the movie scored a real touchdown. I thought it was a real great film.
Just double down.
Oh, last thing I'll say is when I
please.
used to do stand-up, I used to give them fake intros. So back in 2013, 2014, I go, tell them you can now see him in the Book of Eli and Grown Ups 2. And then they would go up and say it with no smirkage, and they just believe it. And then I get up there, and then I'd be like, yeah, I'm not in either of those movies. And then immediately it's like,
oh, my God, I love that.
I did another bit where I would be up there with like a beer, and I would say like, things have been really tough. I had to get sober recently, and my wife left me. But you know what? We got a son out of it, and blah, blah, like I would just like get really over because I can act. 70% of them aren't even looking at the beer in my hand. They're just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I go, you know, stand up, like we all got to laugh. I take a sip of the beer and go, none of that's true. I'm holding a beer, and I said I've been sober for.
Pay top dollar to see that.
It was so fun.
That's
someday
amazing.
I know you got to put me on your lineup again.
1,000%, dude.
And this time I'll do 10 minutes and fart around. It'll be fun.
1,000%. You're a gangster. You are. I feel lucky to be around at this chapter of your life, to see it, and you know what I'm saying? Because, hey man, like I don't know how you feel, and I feel like it's pretty positive and confident, but like, dude, I feel like you're in a small handful of people that I feel lucky to know that are just fucking like this is a. You're gonna look back and be like, yeah, that was my start, but like a fart in the wind comparatively to what's in store. I feel like that. Truly.
That
Want to get on my fuck swing? Sorry, dude. I'm not good with silence and emotion.
No, it's a podcast. Silence isn't supposed to be part of it, but that means a lot.
Yeah.
More than you think, probably. And I think the worst version of me is the guy who cares too much about the elevation.
Yeah.
The best version is the guy who's still cracking the inappropriate joke in front of all the people who still don't really know his name.
Good.
And so
You'll never not be that guy.
Look
never forget Supernova, dude. That was you, true and tried.
Supernova.
The show where you took your shirt off. Yeah. If you ever feel like you're taking yourself too seriously.
I don't call it Supernova, though.
What do you call it?
I call it the Adam Ray Show.
Zoa. Thanks, Rock. Guys, Adam Ray here for the About Last Night podcast. Hope you enjoyed that episode. It was a good one. A lot of laughs, a lot of tears, a lot of stuff to think about and chew on, huh? Because that's what life's all about, chewing on the good stuff. Nobody said that. Maybe Denzel did. Maybe Tom Hanks did. Maybe they said it together in Philadelphia. The point is, click subscribe right here on the ALN logo so you can get more episodes and stay up to date when new content drops. Highlights, animations, clips. It's all here for you, baby. I'll see you next time. Whoop, I don't know how to blink.